All right. Today I want to show you how to wax and tune your skis, or you could do this with a snowboard too. And man, I used to really love skiing. So I got out my skis, from the 1900s, and these were actually really cool in 1995. And used to do a lot of skiing. So much skiing, in fact, that I tore both my labrums. So the labrum is that tendon in your hip that holds the ball in the socket. So you really don't want to tear that up because it doesn't just heal on its own. And I don't know, the advice for that might be stretching really good and try not to ski overly aggressive. And just take it easy. Anyway, so I was in college, man. I had no money, super broke, and I didn't have enough money to pay to have my skis tuned and waxed. So I learned how to do it myself. And I don't know if this is really the most professional way to do this, but it's worked good for me. So do this at your own risk. You could wreck your skis or your snowboard, but it really has worked good for me. And in fact, it worked so good for me, I used to make extra money waxing and tuning everybody's skis on my dorm floor. So I made extra money at that. So when I was in college, I was trying to find ways to make money doing just about anything. And one of the ways I made money is before we'd go skiing up at Shanty Creek, or I don't remember where, Caberfay. We used to go skiing at Caberfay weekly, and my friends didn't want to wait in line when we got there to have their skis waxed and tuned, so they'd have me do it before we left, and I got to make some money at that. So that was kind of fun. The first thing you want to do before you prepare to wax your skis is to scrape the old wax off. So they might have some residue on there from the last time they were waxed. So I just take a piece of plastic and I scrape that off, and I just used a light cover for that, a sharp piece of plastic. I would not use any metal on your skis. Remember, you're trying not to damage this part of the ski whatsoever. And if you look close at the skis, they have a metal edge on them. So we're really trying to concentrate on getting that metal edge back and then getting a nice smooth surface right here. So I have not went skiing since the last time I waxed these skis. So when I'm scraping this wax off, this is some good wax that I just put on for my last demonstration. So I would like to take my kids skiing pretty soon. I'll probably just stay on the bunny hill with them because I don't want to have another hip surgery. 2 is enough. 2 is plenty. So when I get ready to do this, I grab my ski boot, and here's a quick tip for you. I put a bottle in my ski boot to keep mice out of them. We don't have a major mice problem, but every now and then a mouse will get in our house, just like happens in a lot of people's houses. And man, you do not want to make a nest in your ski boot. So I just put that bottle in there just as a tip. My wife was picking on me the other day with my coat. She said, "It looks like you have a mouse nest in your coat." And I'm like, man, I just bought this coat. I'm not replacing it yet. So I'm living with the mouse nest in my coat. Anyway, so I just clamp my boot down on my ski, and I'm gonna lower you down just a little bit. And I do this just so it will keep the brake out of my way when I'm working with my ski. So then I like to put it over a barrel or something similar to that, so it's easier to work with. But they make all these different kinds of waxes for the different temperatures. So your goal is to guess what wax temperature you will want, for when you're going skiing. So if you're going skiing on Saturday and you're waxing your skis on Wednesday, you need to look at the forecast and find out about how cold it's going to be. So they have different ratings. So this one is, 28 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit, -2 to -8 Celsius. So you just kind of pick the wax that you think will be most beneficial for you. If you pick the wrong kind of wax, your skis aren't going to work quite as good. In fact, you could actually make your skis work very bad if you pick the wrong kind of wax. So that's one disadvantage of waxing your own skis, is you might not pick the right wax. If you go there and wax them right when you get there, they're usually using the right wax for the conditions. But this wax is pretty affordable. I don't remember exactly what the price was because I bought it in the the 1900s. But it's probably like, I think this was like 10 bucks and you get a lot of it. Oh, here's a price on this one. So this one's overpriced. It's $8 for three kinds of waxes. But you can wax your skis, you know, several dozen times with that. So it's still way cheaper than paying somebody to wax your stuff. So the first thing I do is try to clean up this metal edge here. I want this metal edge I want to bring it back to life. So this is a ski tuner, and they use something like this similar to snowboards. And what I'm trying not to do is, I don't want to mess with this edge. I want to mess with this side edge here. So I run this down the ski, and I'm trying to get the rust and corrosion off this side edge here of the metal. And what that's going to do is bring that metal edge back to life and give it a nice sharp point. Okay, and you're trying not to angle this, you're trying to keep this nice and perpendicular to the metal piece, you know, so that way you're not putting a bevel on it or taking off that sharp edge. You could actually take off that sharp edge. So you're just going across this. So this is a ski tuner. It's basically just a file that's clamped on a 90-degree angle. So with that being said, you know, I used to just use a file. So when you take your file, you have to be, you know, as precise as possible, and you're going to go across it like this, and you're just trying to make long, even passes across that edge. It gets a little trickier where your boot is, obviously, but you're just trying to make a nice straight edge across that. So the file I'm using is a really fine file. It's not very aggressive. I mean, if you look at the one that's on here, it's pretty fine. There's not a lot of aggressiveness to it. It's more of a metal file. I mean, it is a metal file. It's not designed for wood, it's designed for metal. So then I would go ahead and do the same with this. You know, I'm just trying to get that edge nice and clean, okay, and get all the rust off of there and get that looking good. So then my next step, after I get that done, you know, I'm going to wipe them off, get them clean. Notice I'm wearing gloves because that sharp edge, it will cut me. Once I get that nice and sharp, it's going to cut me. I like to have a nice sharp edge because when you're skiing, that helps you cut and stop and go over moguls and, you know, stuff like that. So I have some skiing stories, but we'll stay away from those for now. So now I'm going to grab my iron. So this is my iron. My wife uses this on her clothes, and then I use it on my skis. No, I'm just joking. You want to have your own iron for this. You don't want to use your clothes iron. And if I look at that real close, you know, I have this at about a medium heat. Medium to high heat is where I have this. And I kind of monkey around with that depending. Like right now I'm in my barn. My barn's a little colder than my house. So I would probably have to turn the heat up just a little bit when I'm outside like this. You want to do this in a vented area. So I want to do this over like a fan or in an area that's larger like my barn to where I'm not going to be smoking myself out, setting out fire alarms and things like that. So, you know, when I let kids do this at school, we do this under the vent in the welding booth. So that way we, you know, we don't have as much smoke. So then I melt some of the wax. I like to just melt it like this. Once again, I'm wearing gloves. I could wear welding gloves even, and I get some wax drops down on the ski. So if you look here, you'll see I have just big balls of wax on there. And so now my goal is to evenly spread those wax balls out. And I just work my way up and down the ski. I go nice and easy. I'm trying to go a nice long pass all the way down the ski. And trying to just really iron out those strips of wax. And you might have to use a little more than I just did, but I didn't scrape off all my old wax. But you'll be able to see where you waxed it and what spots are dry. So if I try, it's going to be a little hard on the camera, but if I just tilt this, you might be able to see I have a little dry spot here, but everything else has these wax lines on them, and you know, it's pretty much ready to go. So I might drip a little more wax right in here and go over that spot again, get it nice and hot and smooth it out a little bit. But I don't want to burn the bottom of my ski. So if you notice when I was doing this, I didn't fall asleep at the wheel and stay in one spot for a really long time. I kept the iron moving around, and it just kind of really helps out, you know. So I don't want to just hold it one spot, and then it kind of helps soak it into those spots and smooths it out even more. So, all right, well there you go. I just showed you how to wax your skis. Snowboard's the same way, really. I mean, I've never snowboarded. I am a wakeboarder behind a boat, so someday I need to branch off and wreck my knees on a snowboard. But I've never done any snowboarding. So, but I do think this is how you wax and tune a snowboard. Is very similar because they both have those metal edges, and the bottoms are very similar. So if you're interested in doing this, I will let you use my iron and my wax. Let me know. But remember, I'm by no means a professional at this, so do this at your own risk. I just wanted to tell you how it's done, and I've had good luck with this method, and I'm sure there's other videos out there that they might do it differently, and they might even have other ways of doing it. So maybe you should watch a couple different videos of people doing this, and you know, kind of do your own assessment of the best way to do this. So, you know, that's what I do on YouTube, is whenever I pick up something new, I try not to just take one person's advice, but this is the way I've done it, and it is kind of fun, and I like saving money, and like I said, when I was in college I earned some money. So there you go, that's how you wax skis. Have a great day.